lie. So silly. You know what I'm doing? Good evening. Happy Monday. Happy President's Day. Happy, I didn't have work today and Xavier didn't have school. Where are you going? Um, okay, there we go. I'm just getting us set up to get the live going on our page. It is already up on YouTube. On our page. It is already up on YouTube. Yeah, that's me. Okay. Hope you all had a good, great, or better weekend and Monday. And again, holiday for those who are off today. We are going to get started. I am Tamara, and this is
Xavier.
Xavier. Joiner. Okay.
James.
James. Don't forget the James. Sorry about that.
The James is
Okay, so what are we reading today, Xavier James Joiner? Give your whole government name.
Stacy's Extraordinary Words.
By who's the author?
Oh, Stacey. Sorry, turn it out. Stacy
Abrams.
Yeah.
Okay. Alrighty. So, like we always do at this time, let's get to reading. All right. So I'm gonna pop it open first, and you got it.
Oh, okay.
You got it.
Illustrated by Kit Thomas.
And again, who's the illustrator? What do they do? I just need to know that you know.
Yeah. We're already 2 minutes in.
Okay.
Just read the book. You can make sure to know after. Do you start here or next page? Next page.
You ready?
Yep.
And here we go.
Stacy loved words. She loved to read and write and say them. She adored fun words, long words, unusual words, words with wonderful histories and weird combinations. Whenever Stacy learned a new word, it was like making a new friend. First, she would find the dictionary. Then she would look up where the word had come from and learn its secrets. Does any of its letters hide and stay quiet, like the P in... Well, what is this word?
Here we go. I remember I said we are not going to know some of these words.
Again?
That you're probably right. The P is probably, yeah, it's quiet. So the P, the word, I will spell it. It is PTA. I should put it in the chat.
No.
Can you spell it for me? Oh,
Sure.
it's a private chat. So PTARMIGAN. I think it's ptarmigan because you said the P is quiet. Okay. We're going to go with ptarmigan.
A bird that lives in the cold northern regions or where they strong like the N in bright.
See the picture?
Oh, shit, yeah.
And there's Stacy and her mom. Beautiful purple garden.
The ptarmigan.
Yeah.
Ptarmigan.
Next, she wrote the word in her special notebook of extraordinary words. She practiced how to arrange the letters just right, how to sound them out. That's because she loved spelling interesting words most of all. With her favorite words, she would try to remember their quirks. What made them special? When she saw a super long word like onomatopoeia. Oh my goodness. Does anybody else have this book? ONO, onomatop. We have some looking up to do. A funny word to describe the sound of other words. She had the jump and sway. Words like duckling made her grin. Her snickety tickled her tongue.
What is persnickety?
This is, yeah, I told them earlier when I glanced in this book that there were some words in here that are very extraordinary. What's that word? Let me see if I can push it up there for you all.
So, mine.
Up.
Mom, I'm perfect at this. Let me do
There,
it.
hold on, there it is. O-N-O-M.
Mom, you're too far away.
Okay, well,
Wait, here, I'll do it.
that's okay. Let's keep going. We'll put that word in the chat.
Are only 2 minutes.
Oh, she broke it apart. On o mato ho ia. Ano mato. We're gonna work on that.
Onomatopoeia.
Okay, good job. See, young minds.
Brains.
Let's go.
Sometimes Stacy thought that words understood her better than people did. When she sat by herself during recess, they never teased her about being quiet or about being or about being clumsy when she fell, or awkward when the joke in her head came out wrong. When she reads books, when
Start over.
When she read books under
Not read, but
read.
There you go.
Sorry. When she read books under the covers, words never told her to go to sleep. Words understood why she was grumpy or anxious. In fact, words helped her explain what she was feeling, if only to herself. Mother, get off the phone. Right now. Get off your phone.
One day, Stacy's teacher, Mrs. Blakesley, asked her to wait after class. She squirmed in her seat because she was afraid, petrified. Another way to say really, really afraid. Usually, the teacher only kept the student after class because of a blunder, a mistake. Mrs. Blakesley called Stacy to her desk and she returned her spelling test. A big red 100 sat at the top of the page. The teacher asked her, "Do you know what a spelling bee is?" "A really smart insect?" Stacy joked. The teacher smiled. A spelling bee is a contest where students compete to spell as many words correctly as they can. I would like for you to participate. Stacy couldn't believe it. Who else will be there? I am nominating you and Jake. The spelling bee is next week. I was just telling my brother Corey, sorry I can still hear that how much I loved Friday spelling bees. He called me a nerd. If you were a child of the 70s, I don't know about before that, but in elementary school, we used to get this long sheet, kind of like this, but it was longer. And you had to write your spelling words. I loved those days. And I used to get, don't say hey, I used to get 100 on all my spelling tests. But there's Stacy with her big red 100. And she's going to be in the spelling bee, which Leonard just had two winners, right?
And I didn't make it because I spelled the word wrong. I forgot what it was.
You forgot what word it was?
Yup.
Well, maybe next year.
Probably easy.
Okay, your turn.
Too much for walks. Stacy's excitement suddenly
Evaporated.
Oh, evaporated. Jake was not her friend. He was a bully who knew words too. Just yesterday, he had used a complicated word that made Suki cry. Last week, she heard him saying something cruel to
Zipco
about his accent. Stacy thought that was stupendous that Zipco knew words in 2 different languages. Stacy knew as many words as Jake did. She wanted to say something when she said mean things to her friends, but she was imitated, intimidated,
Good job.
scared because sometimes he said hurtful things to her too. She wished she had used her clever words to help Suki or Zipko or herself by speaking up. Perhaps at the spelling bee she would be braver. At the spelling bee she would not be silent.
Bullies are bad.
Whoever said that? The president? Did he say that?
All week long.
Wait, hold on. Okay.
All week long, Stacy studied her spelling words from school and the ones she kept in her notebook. Still, the spelling bee felt as far away as the longest word she had ever seen. Here we go. Sesquipedalian. Sesquipedalian. I think I got it. Sesquipedalian, a fancy way to describe words with lots of syllables. So they do break it apart, and so you all can see I'm just aging, but they are breaking these words apart. We should have read this before we got on here, but I'm glad we didn't. We're sharing as we're learning with you all. Sesquipedalian, a fancy way to describe words with lots of syllables. The days of the week were what am I saying? Monotone. I can't get it out. Monotonous, torturous, and sluggish. Every hour felt longer and longer. So there's monotonous, torturous, sluggish. Stacy wished for the week to whisk its days away. Yeah, Stacy in these extraordinary words. These are words some of them I have never heard of. So I may read this again.
No. 12 minutes. Finally the morning of the spelling bee arrived. Stacy walked into the county library with her mother, holding her hand tight. Mama gave her a big hug and whispered into her ear, "Just do your best. Your dad and I are very proud of you." Stacy followed her teacher to the room where the other students waited until it was time to go. Then they went onto a stage. The announcer explained the rules. Kids stepped up to the microphone one by one to get their word. If they spelled it right, the announcer told them so. But if they made a mistake, a bell would ring. The student would have to leave the stage. No do-overs.
So that's mom giving her encouragement, and then that's the teacher helping the kids get settled to get ready for the spelling bee. Stacy's turn finally came. Her stomach ached with nervous energy, but she was ready. Say the word dither. Sound it out. Dither. Spell it. D-I-T-H-E-R. Dither. That is correct. The announcer called on the next student and the next. Promptly, enormous, shudder, transportation, craggy, reception, village. Finally, only 3 contestants remained. Stacy and Jake and a girl from another school. The girl went up to spell her word. Ding! She had spelled chocolate without the second O.
Wait, why is she there if she doesn't go to the school?
It's just a picture. It's a spelling bee. It must be with all different schools and not just at their school. Like how some of your classmates who won, didn't they go into another spelling bee contest once they passed that letter?
I don't think so.
I think they did, but we'll find out. I'm saying that too.
What's wrong?
Come on, let's go.
We are down to our final two contestants, the announcer told the audience. Jake took a long time to spell accept. Stacy got squeezed, but she remembered the lost letter she adored, like Q and Z. Jake tackled, clambering. Stacy
Conquered.
Stacy conquered. Disengage?
Disengage.
Disengage. Then Jake defeated geometry. What? Stacy returned to the podium ready to do battle with her next word. She repeated it. She pronounced it. She spelled it. Instantaneous. Instantaneous.
Say it again.
What did I say?
You're on live. Come on.
What did I say?
It sounds like you added a G. Say it again.
I said instantaneous.
Right. There's no G.
Instantaneous.
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 Right. No G. We will be reading this book again. No, don't feel stupid. What you do is you take this as a lesson. Don't do that. Don't do that. We're doing discipline on live too.
No.
Okay. As she waited for the announcer, the bell dinged. I'm sorry, that is incorrect. The proper spelling is. Stacy couldn't hear the rest of what he said. Tears filled her eyes, but she stayed on stage like a good sport as Jake got his trophy and she received her second place ribbon. Everyone congratulated Jake, and so did she. Good job. Jake laughed and rolled his eyes. At least I know the difference between I and E. That was me. So she spelled the word wrong. I'm trying to think what word. I know that I still say Wednesday, so I don't misspell Wednesday. I do that.
Stacy felt embarrassed, but she refused to let Jake make her cry. Well, I misspelled my word, but I do know how to be courageous.
Mm-hmm.
Courteous. You should try it. She turned away and went to
Speak up.
She turned away and went to find her mom. If today were like one of the stories Stacy loved most, she would have won. And Jake would have learned that words were a gift that shouldn't be used to hurt people. But things didn't always happen that way in real life. Sometimes change was harder, and it didn't happen right away. Stacy felt a hand brush at her cheek. It opened her fist and smoothed out the ribbon. Mama, she put a butterscotch candy on top. Stacy's favorite kind. You okay?
You gotta speak up a little bit so I can hear
I don't like butterscotch.
I lost, but you came so far, nearly to the very end. Not far enough. I got the letter wrong, and I didn't win. I failed. You only fail if you stop, her mother reminded her. I know there's a word for that. You know it too. Stacy thought about one of her favorite words, perseverance. Perseverance. Exactly. So let's go home and learn more words. There's always next year. You only fail if you stop. Message to the young and old,
To you.
and the young at heart.
Stacy imagined all the words she had kept to meet new words and new ways to speak up and help others. She'd find them all. No, Mama, there's always tomorrow. We have people.
Stacy Abrams speaking.
Man, why? I just want to comment. Why sometimes on these books they have these little lines between words? If that's to break it up, just put a comma. We're
Well,
done.
that was the end of the book. So, and we know it was by Stacey Abrams. It's only 20, 21. I want to read her author's notes to see, because this was actually, looks like a true story. She said, I love words. I can't remember ever not loving them. As a preschooler, when class ended, my parents were still hard at work. Luckily, I attended preschool on the college campus where my mother served as a librarian. She would have us nap in the stacks as she continued to work, and I nestled with books and stories and words. Even today, the rich scent of a library or the waft of a freshly opened book makes me smile. Not only were words my companions, they were also my protectors. One day during first grade, the principal of Anderson Avenue Elementary fetched me from class and walked me outside to one of the trailers that lined the back of the school building. My next memory is of the door opening wide and a lovely woman greeting me, Mrs. Blakesley, my soon-to-be second grade teacher. So then she talks about her choosing her for the spelling bee. Um, she said, more than 40 years later, I think I heard her talk about this. More than 40 years later, these remain the stalwart axis against which I measure my growth. In that contest, I learned in front of a live audience that chocolate has two O's. When the bell dinged, I practiced stoicism. I can't get it, stoicism before I knew of the concept. And I still recall my mom pressing the yellow candy into my hand, remembering that I, her second of six children, loved that color most. Because of that first lost spelling bee, followed by four more close calls, until I claimed victory in sixth grade, I discovered how to merge my delight and my terror, realizing that failure is never more than an invitation to try again. So she said, little like Jake, some kids picked on me and others who were different. Over the years, I learned how to use my words to do good, even when I'm most afraid. I constantly strive to speak up, especially when it makes me nervous. And if I'm doing my very best, I make room for those who haven't discovered their superpowers yet. And she has all the words, even with the misspellings and how to spell them right in the back. Yep, I'll be looking at them.
And here is a picture.
So we only have 7 minutes left.
So let's.
I think we can do this really quick. So we have this book. We always like to, we don't get to read the second book, promote the book.
You can't read early.
Black Inventors, 15 Inventions That Changed the World by Kathy Trusty, a Black history book for kids. So it has stories of 15 inventors in here. And I laughed at one of them because, as I said earlier, my hair was not combed because it's wash day.
Earlier.
Lydia Newman, never heard of her. She improved the hairbrush. Has anybody else heard of Lydia Newman? She improved their hairbrush. She was born in Ohio, like me.
Yeah.
We had.
What?
Yeah.
You were born in Ohio.
Sure was. Benjamin Banneker, Wood Clock and Banneker's Almanac.
Down in
Xavier said he only knew George Washington Carver. We have to change that.
Why?
Elijah McCoy.
What's wrong with that?
Sarah Good, cabinet beds.
Damn.
So she made, some of the furniture that we use now. Am I going the wrong way? There we go.
Ooh, beds with things under them.
Yeah, she said he used some of her ideas, and even in IKEA. I didn't make that up, Jerima. IKEA.
Wait, where's it at?
Sarah said Sarah's cabinet bed invention did not have as much success as the Murphy bed. Who made
No,
the
but where's the
Murphy
IKEA
bed?
part?
We're gonna definitely have to read about that.
What's the IKEA part?
All of it. George Washington Carver, inventor of products from peanuts. What else do we have? Garrett Morgan, safety mask, and the traffic light signal that people are totally ignoring these days. Let's see, who else do we have? Says, how dangerous would it be if there was no yellow light to warn drivers that the light is getting ready to turn red? I wish he were alive today. Charles Drew, blood bank. Bessie Blount Griffin, feeding apparatus.
Apparatus. Isn't that important?
No. Marie Van Britton, she created the home security
Britton
system.
Brown.
Wow.
So
Britton Brown.
So that's what we have.
Mm-hmm.
Home security
I really
system.
can't wait to read her story. Maybe we'll read her story next time. She created the home security system. Wow.
Why is it delayed?
Patricia Bath, laser Baco, I hope I'm saying that right, eye surgery device.
Wait, let me see. Where's the word?
Laser PH. Yeah, we'll have to figure out that word too.
Why is it delayed from the phone?
Mark Dean, personal computer. Yeah, never heard of. I don't think I've heard of these people. Most of them. Lonnie Johnson, pressurized water gun, and Johnson thermoelectric energy converter. Xavier was happy to hear about him. He's still alive too.
Wait, what?
You can look him up online.
No, he's not.
Lisa Gelopter, computer technology and web animation.
What? So when they don't put the date they died, they're still alive?
Correct.
So she's still alive?
Yes. Shirley Jackson, technology for caller ID and call waiting.
So she's still alive?
Exactly.
What? I'm saying it.
Marion Croak, advances in voice over internet protocol. So she has something to do with us doing remote interviews and having remote meetings. She was also on American Idol. I did see a little bit of that. She helped with the voting with American Idol.
So she's still alive?
Let's see. Okay, that's it. So, Black Inventors, 15 Inventions That Changed the World by Kathy Trusty. It's a Black history book for kids.
George is dead, right? George Washington Carver.
On that note, we hope you enjoyed Virtual Bedtime Stories with Tamara, and have a good night. Have a great week.
Have a good year.
What he said. We'll see you all in March. Thank you for watching.
Bye.